Hey, welcome to FarmCraft. Starting out with a piece of old steel rod that I got from a bed frame like this one. That heavy wire on the perimeter of the frame. And I cut it into lengths. And then fire up my charcoal forge. Thing is really easy to light. And I start heating up the rods. Getting ready to put somewhat of a scroll on the end to make it a more pleasing hook. Start out flattening the end. And then curl it on the edge of the anvil and roll it over with your hammer. I've got to do both sides with the scrolls directed in the opposite direction. There you can see what I mean. One scroll's facing up, the other's facing down. And now onto the bottom hook. Just rolling it around the horn of the anvil. The trick here is getting them all the same. Now I'm going to make the upper hook in the vise. I bend it over with the hammer and then bend it back up with the pliers, and this allows room for something to hook on the upper part of the hook. You'll see later when it's installed. Then I just have to straighten each hook out a little bit. And on to the next one. I'm using some scrap steel plate to make a back for each hook that will be used to mount it. I'm using a ball peen hammer to give it a hammered look. And here you can see how the back is going to be situated on the hook. Tacking that in place with my welder. Now I'm moving on to the leaves. I start out with 1/2 inch round stock for this because I need more material where I forge the leaf out. So then I have to draw it out to the same dimension as the previous hooks so that the hook looks the same. So that's what I'm doing here. And then flattening the end, getting ready for the scroll. And bending it into a hook. Now I use my carbide scissors to cut it to length. So I put a taper on the end. That's where the leaf is going to be. And then I'm drawing out the remainder of the hook to get it to the right dimension. So you can see I have a heavy area right on the end. That's for the leaf. Now I'm defining where the stem is going to end and the leaf is going to start. You can see here when I smash it flat, it starts to take a leaf shape. I then reheat it and use a cross peen to widen it out, then change to the rounding hammer to smooth out the peen marks. Now I'm using a chisel to put veins in the leaf. And then I use a finer cross peen to put some texture on the edges of the leaf. Gives it a more detailed kind of look. Now working on the stem, drawing it out. And I take a wood block to set the leaf down in it. I've got the veins pointed down because the wood won't mar those. I'm using a ball peen hammer, and it makes the leaf get a hollow in the center, so it becomes three-dimensional. And now I'm going to twist the stem to give it an organic looking shape, hopefully. There you can see how the leaf is hollow and how it makes it look more realistic. So off camera, the leaf popped off. I welded it back on and then peened it so it doesn't look like a regular weld. But if you look close, you can kind of tell, but I'm okay with that. So on to leaf number 2. I've already drawn out the rod, and I'm defining the stem and the leaf now. And I didn't put as much taper on this one, so I have to do more forming to make it look like a leaf. Hammering on the edge of the anvil. Trying to give it a leaf shape. Then I go on to the veins using my chisel. That's what it looks like before the peening. Then I use that finer cross peen, and that's what it looks like after. Now I'm working on the stem, drawing it down. Gotta be careful when this metal's so thin. I'm measuring on the anvil to decide where I want the hook to end and the stem to start. So I'm just trying to mark that area. And that happened. That's what happens when you try to work it too cold. Got a little impatient, didn't go for another heat, broke it. Live and learn. Thankfully there are these things called welders. So I just go on and finish the leaf, setting it in the wood block just like I did before. And I'm just bending up the tip, give it a nice look. And then I go on to the hook, getting it to look the same as the other one. And out comes the welder. Got to do little separate tacks because it's too thin to hit for any length of time. You'll just melt through it. And then you have an obvious looking weld, but if you put it back on the anvil and peen it, it kind of blends in and you can't really see it. So then I'm bending that stem into shape. I had to do 2 heats. And I used the torch because I wanted it to bend right in one specific area. And there you go. So now I'm going on to the woodworking part of things. I'm starting with this 2-inch thick white oak plank. Now I need to get this down to 1 inch, so I'm going to plane this until it's smooth, and then I'm going to cut it to width, or I'll rough it close to width, which is 11 inches. And then I will put it on the bandsaw and resaw it to about 1 1/8 inches, and then I'll plane it down to a final thickness of 1 inch. Here I'm making a dado that will be used to join the two pieces together. And I wanted this project to come out very old-fashioned and traditional looking, so I decided I would use only old-fashioned tools. I didn't use any sandpaper, I just used hand planes and scrapers to do all the finish work. So I'm screwing the two sides together, and now I'm working on some narrower pieces that I had cut off earlier that are going to make a shelf on the finished rack. This will all become clear as you see it come together. So you might notice I left this piece wide, this piece narrow. That's my final 4 inches, that's my shelf. This one I left wide because I was going to scribe it. Meaning I expected this wall to be out of square. I'm used to working on an old house. The walls are always out of square. So what I was going to do is put this piece flat against the board, slide this one up against the other, and I expected there would be, you know, some gap, something like that. But believe it or not, it's square. So I didn't even need to do that. I could have just cut it like it was. But just to show you what I intended, I left an extra 1/2 inch, so I would want to scribe off 1/2 inch so that this ends up in the right place. But I would have put it up here, there might have been a gap here, or there might have been a gap here, and I would have just marked like that to get the line that I needed to cut to make it fit. In this case, I actually didn't need to, so I just need to go cut that off square. You know, this section of the house actually is an addition, so maybe the contractor who did this knew what he was doing. Nah, it couldn't be. Again, I'm doing all my finishing with hand planes and scrapers, and actually trying to leave it a little bit rough. I want it to look handmade, not perfect and machined. So now I'm laying out where the hooks are going to go, marking it with a punch and then drilling the holes. Now I have to weld a threaded stud onto the back of each piece, of each hook rather. And that way I can attach it to the board with no exposed fasteners, because even a flathead screw there I think would make that look much more modern. Having the fasteners hidden I think gives it a much more traditional look. So I'm using epoxy as I glue it, as I attach them, so that the hooks won't spin, because they only have one attachment point.